In this video, we're going to do an in-depth review of the newly released Roland BRIDGE CAST announced at CES this year from the perspective of someone who streams on a PS5 alongside a Mac Mini. Let's get right into it. So let's go ahead and get started with the hardware side of things. So let me just turn this around. Okay, what you'll see here is a 5-volt USB-C plug. Not necessary if you're hooking up the BridgeCast to your computer or console using a USB-C to USB-C cable. But if you're using the USB-C to USB-A cable, then you do need to provide it supplemental power. It'll still work according to the manual, but the LED brightness gets brought down. To the right of that, you'll see this toggle here, and that is for toggling between PC and or console mobile. Now, I'm currently hooked up directly to the Mac, but because the Mac drivers are not available yet, Roland says they'll be out in April, I have to use it on the console mobile side of things. Now, as far as I understand, the only drawback as of now is that using the console mobile toggle, the Mac only sees one channel. So this means like when you're selecting input and output, it's only Roland BRIDGE CAST, as opposed to having the multiple channels presented as different sources on the Mac. If you're on PC, the drivers are out. You should have an issue. You should be able to select between the different channels. I believe it's 4 channels in and 3 channels out. So if that's wrong, I'll correct it in the comments or something. Okay, moving on. So next you have the line out. So what this will do is, well, you can assign what audio you want to come out of here. I think it's mic audio, stream audio, or whatever you're hearing in your headphones audio. But we'll double check that once we do the software review in just a sec here. Now, this is cool if you're streaming on your console. Let's say you're hooked up directly to the console, then you can connect this to your capture card. In my case, the Elgato HD60X, which has a stereo line in. And this will capture all of the party chat audio, game audio, and my microphone's audio. Next to that, you have the aux port. Now, what's cool about this aux port is that it is TRRS. And so all that means is that it supports microphone as well. So this could be one configuration to hook it up to your console. Let's say you want to disconnect it directly to your Mac, in my case. You could hook up, if you have, let me get that in here. Yep, PlayStation 5 remote. You could hook up that aux port into here. And what that means is that the audio from the game will come through to that, but then the microphone audio from your XLR mic will also go into the PlayStation. So, your party chat will be able to hear you in that way. Or if you had a DAC hooked up to your PS5, you could plug it in that way. But keep in mind, and this isn't specific to this, but if this is charging and you have that plugged in, you're going to get a ground loop hum most likely, and so you'll probably need one of these things, which is a ground loop isolator. And we'll probably go over that in the connections piece of the video. Connection setups I want to cover. So then here you have the XLR mic. So pretty straightforward, plug in your XLR mic. And then your headphones port. Now, this headphones port does support headsets. So if you didn't have an XLR mic or you just wanted to use a gaming headset, that microphone could also work with the BRIDGE CAST as well. So pretty versatile. Okay, so let's swap it around here. Now, these can all be assigned and set to different things in the software, and we'll discuss that. So I'm just going to go over what it's set to right now. So this knob is controlling my microphone. In this case, because I am in the personal mix, which is the audio that I hear through my headphones, it's controlling my side tone. So also the side tone, monitor, volume, whatever you want to refer to it as. So here I can hear myself, and I have this set to mute the microphone. But you can assign these to things like a sound, like you can use these buttons like a soundboard for like sound effects, or different things. So this is right now set to the aux port. So that's that port, that TRRS aux port. So if that were hooked up to your, let's say, PS5 remote, then technically this would be your game audio, right? Not the aux audio. And so, yeah, you'll see that we can actually assign the aux audio to this game if we wanted to. This is the chat audio channel. If you're hooked up directly to PlayStation, well, the chat audio and the game audio are coming through one channel, so you're not going to be able to split it. You could split the channels if you wanted to. Let's say if you had like a monitor that had like a headset out or a line out, then you could set the PlayStation to run the audio out to the monitor, and then you could pipe that in, so then you get the game audio here, and then through the USB you're getting the chat audio. But it sounds messy, and I don't have it set up that way, but you probably could set something up that way. Cool. So yeah, so stream mix, personal mix, you can swap between those two, and so those controls are what you're adjusting based off of what's set here. So if it's stream mix, then you're adjusting the stream mix audio levels, and that's what your stream is hearing, not what you're hearing in your headphones necessarily. If you wanted to set both of these stream mix and personal mixes to the same volume levels or control them at the same time, then you could press mix link, and what that does is it sets both of those audio mixes to the same volume levels. It'll match them up. So now we have the headphones volume here. Pretty straightforward. The stream mix volume level, that's the entire stream mix. The line out volume level, so that's the line out on the back of the BRIDGECast. And then up here, these are mic effects. You can toggle them on or off. And so if you see here, you have 1 through 5. These are microphone effect presets that you can set in the software. So what I did is I set the first one to nothing, because you have to have this on in order to control the pitch and the formant live. So
yeah, you can do cool stuff like that or
like that. But you can also preset these, so you'll see as I go through
These are all presets that were assigned in
the software. So pretty neat. And then last but not least is the game EQ presets here. So I have number 1 set to Call of Duty, because that's the game that I'm playing right now. But you can assign these to different preset EQs for certain games, and they give you some default ones. They happen to have Call of Duty as a default one, so I set it to that. Okay, so let's jump into the software. So starting with the input channel 1. So the first slider here, what this is referring to is the microphone volume for USB and aux input. So remember we talked about that TRRS port? So that will support your microphone. And when you're hooked up directly to the console, the microphone volume is controlled, at least from coming from the microphone volume from the BRIDGECast is controlled from this toggle here. Now, on the BRIDGECast itself, right now there's this little line at the bottom here. So on the BRIDGECast itself, I've assigned the knob to control the microphone side tone. So, but you can set it, and so you can see here, you see, controls that. But you can set it to instead control the microphone volume for USB and aux output. So I don't need that, because I'll just leave it at this set volume, and I can control the volume for the aux or for USB directly from the console itself. I'll just leave that at the set volume. And then to the right here, this is the stream microphone volume. So how much louder is the mic over the rest of the audio on the stream mix, or lower? And so if I press the stream mix button here, you can see that it switches over and it's controlling that. So that's that. aux2, so same deal here. This is the personal mix volume and the stream mix volume. Oh, I forgot to mention, if I click this button here, this is the same as turning on Mix Link, which means it joins the stream mix and personal audio levels. And so you sync them all to the same level, or you adjust them at the same time. So in my case, I've assigned channel 1 to the mic, I've assigned channel 2 to the aux. I've assigned channel 3 to sound effects, and you'll see that's the first one that doesn't match up with what we have set here, um, because I'm not using this channel for chat. So I'm using it for the sound effects. So, you can do things like, hey, if you want to bleep yourself, that's just the one I set it to, but there's other ones, and we'll take a look at that. And again, personal mix, stream mix, audio levels. And then the last one here, I assigned it to USB because when I'm hooked up to the PlayStation directly, that's going to be my game audio. So the game audio will be the USB audio. So I can adjust the volume level in my ear or the volume level for the stream mix. And of course, I have it lower for the stream mix because I don't want um, my voice to be overcome by the game audio. And then these at the bottom, you can't control them from here, but you can, of course, control them from uh, the knobs on the BridgeCast. All right, so let's go on to the menu screen here. So this is the mic setup. So this does support condenser mic, so it provides phantom power. I have a dynamic mic, so I have it set to that, but it'll also support a headset mic. So I probably should have showed this on the hardware piece, but I could show it now. If you did have a condenser mic and you wanted to turn on the phantom power, you actually hold these two buttons until these 5 lights light up. So I'll do it now. Hopefully it doesn't blow up my dynamic mic. So you just hold those two together and you see boom, boom, boom. So phantom power is on. This still works. But now let's go ahead and turn it off. And there we go. So no more phantom power. And you have your microphone gain, which you can control here as well. I haven't touched it. Seems like it's fine at 53 dB, so we'll leave it at that. So mic cleanup. So this is pretty cool that it's all done on board on the BridgeCast, not using your computer at all. So it's a lot of the same things you would set up on any mic: your noise suppressor, a de-esser, a compressor, a low cut, and then an EQ. I didn't mess with it too much. I adjusted the EQ a little bit to match what I had set up before, but I could probably come in here and do a little bit more. So yeah, that's neat. So and this all gets saved on board as well. So when you hook this up to your console, these settings remain. On the noise suppressor, there's a noise gate, and then there's adaptive, which is like more like a smart noise suppressor type of deal, and then you can kind of adjust how strong it is. I feel like it changes my voice a little bit, so I don't use that. I prefer a noise gate. So these are the mic effects. We talked about it earlier, but you can assign these different mic effects or these different settings that
you set up here.
So I set the first one, pitch, to disable the reverb because I only wanted to control pitch and form it directly from the BridgeCast itself. So that's the only. I was kind of bummed you can't control reverb from here. That'd be neat to be able to control it from the device itself. But I just have this maximum reverb one set on if I want the reverb. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. And of course, you can turn it on, turn it off. And you could save these files or like load files, like the different settings or presets that you set. You can reset to the default, which what it came with, or you could write the new files. So that's it. Going to the game tab. So these are those gaming EQ presets that we talked about, and those can be changed from this button here. So you see as I press, they change here. So Call of Duty. And you can make additional adjustments or make your own custom one as well too. This is neat. So if you have people in chat, like different mics or their volumes are all over the place, you can enable a compressor or even a de-esser. Save your hearing for a couple additional years. So that's neat. Okay, so this is a pretty important part. So the line out mode. So this is that line out line on the back of the BridgeCast. You can set it to just be mic audio. You can set it to be the stream mix audio, which is what you probably want to set it to if you're hooked up directly to the PlayStation 5, because that's what you'll plug into your capture card. and the headphone sync. So the headphone sync just plays the same audio that's coming in through your headphones through the line out. So another important part is the USB out mode. Okay, so if you're hooking up directly to your console, you got to set this to mic so they can hear the mic audio. If you're hooked up to your computer, in my case the Mac, then you're going to want to set it to stream mix. So when I go into OBS and I select when I select my audio for the game and everything, like it'll be the game, my mic, any music if I have that coming in through the BridgeCast as well. Then I would want the stream mix selected. So that's why that's set there right now. So these are the different channels. The channels and what you can assign to them. So this is kind of what I referenced earlier. So let's say, for example, channel 1, right? It is controlling my mic. That's what I want it to control. And then there's this button at the bottom. I have it set to mute all. And what mute all means is that it will mute my microphone both in my personal mix, so that's my side tone, and on the stream mix. But you can set it to just mute on either one. So let's say you want to mute it for your personal mix because you're sick of hearing yourself, then but you still want it to go through the stream mix. Well, then you can do that. But as we mentioned earlier, there's a bunch of different things these buttons can do. They don't have to necessarily act as mic buttons. And that's actually what I did with channel 3, and we'll go to that in just a sec. But let's see some of the different options. So you can mute the headphones. What's that? Mute the line out completely, mute the stream out. You can set it to load up a particular profile, and that you can see on the left side of the screen. Profiles, we'll go into that, but these are pretty much just presets for all of these settings, like different profiles that control all of these settings. Or game EQ, but I don't know why you'd want to do that because that has its own section. So you can also adjust, you can also adjust the LED colors. So if that's your thing, you can change it. I haven't touched that. I just kind of left it where it was. So all right, going back to how I have mine set up. So channel 1, I have it set to mic. Channel 2, I have it set to auxiliary. So that's that TRRS port. Now I set this up with the intention to hook up directly to the PS5. If I was hooking up to the Mac and bringing in my audio from the PS5 here, I'd probably make aux the game. I would have assigned aux to the game channel on the BridgeCast. And then I have that set to just mute on both the stream and personal mix. So channel 3, again, assuming this is hooked up to my PlayStation 5, I have it set to control sound effects. So this is the sound effects volume. So how prominent are the sound effects on my stream mix? And I set this button to the sound effect. So, if you're about to say a bad word like mother, you can bleep it out. But you can assign it, different things like, in this case, what is it? Dance kick? Or whoosh. So that's pretty cool. And you can add additional sound effects, your own things. And Roland's going to actually release some sound effects and copyright-free music that you'll be able to use using the Roland Cloud BGM. But it's not available yet, and you'll see when I click on that. And then channel 4 is set to my game, right? Because that's hooking up to USB to the PlayStation. So that's the game and party chat mix because I'm bringing those in together from the PS5. And I set that button to just mute both on the stream and personal mix. So these are the different profiles that you can save. So these are all default. The only one I saved was for the dynamic mic because that's the only one I made changes for. But yeah, you can load them from your computer if you saved additional ones, but you can keep 5 on deck here. But you can't load them in directly from the BridgeCast. It seems like you have to load it in from here or make the change here. So, which is fine. You know, I don't see myself really changing this. Most of this stuff is set it and forget it. So going into system, headphones gain, it was set on boost 1, seems fine to me. Indicator type, this is, as you can see when I'm talking here, this is changing, so that's because I have it set to meter. But if I have it set to level, that shows me the audio level that I have it set to. So static. But I like meter because you can already see the audio level once you go to change it anyways. This is the firmware update. This is the latest. What's weird though is that if you hit update, it'll just continue to update to the same version that you're on if it's the latest. So it'd be nice if they said you don't need to update because you're already on the latest. But you know, this is very new. I'm sure they probably have something like that lined up. And then the last thing that we have to see here is the Roland Cloud BGM. And so this is going to be that copyright or that copyright free music and additional sound effects that you'll be able to save to those buttons. So more to come on that. All right, let's keep going. Okay, so next I wanted to cover different connection scenarios or setups. Again, specifically for somebody who streams on PlayStation 5 and is connected to from a Mac Mini. So I referenced one earlier where you could, let's say you want to have this connected to your Mac, but you want to stream off your PlayStation. So one way you could do it is you could leverage that aux port on the back of the BRIDGECast there. And again, it's TRRS. So what that looks like is you could either go PlayStation Remote to that port, or if you had a PlayStation 5 DAC, this is the SteelSeries Game DAC Gen 2, I could just use that headphone port there as well. But you're probably going to cause a ground loop. Well, not if this is wireless, but the thing with this, if it's wireless, is you invest in something like this, high quality audio. If you're using this wireless remote audio, like you're getting that compressed audio, you're just not going to get the best sounding audio in your ear. I mean, I tested it; it sounded great. I don't think I could really tell the difference between hooking up to this and this. So that would probably work fine for most people. And you're set. You assign what you would do is you assign the aux channel to the game knob. Okay, and so then what that does is you're controlling the game audio level and party chat level because it's coming through here from this knob, so it matches up and makes sense. And you can do that from the software. And your XLR mic will go directly through here. So, your party chat will hear your voice effects or just the high quality audio that you've set up with your EQ and whatnot. Okay, so that's one scenario. All right, so let's say you're hooking up directly to the PlayStation 5. So the other scenario is I hook up directly to the PlayStation 5, and so then I assign the USB channel to the game knob, which is actually how I have it set up right now. But then you got to get that audio into your computer. So what you would do then is you would set the line out to be the stream mix, and then you take that line out into your Elgato capture card or whatever other capture card, as long as it has an analog audio in. But again, you're going to probably have a ground loop, so you'll need to put this in between. And actually, going back to this, concept of, well, I can use the aux, cable, it's TRRS, with, let's say, a DAC or a PlayStation 5 remote. If the PlayStation 5 remote is charging, you will get that hum, and you need a ground loop noise isolator. The problem is, though, that I ran into with this one, and I can't seem to find any others that are TRRS noise, ground loop noise isolators. This one's only stereo. It doesn't have that mic. It doesn't have that third black line, and so the mic doesn't work with this one here. Um, the only one that I'm aware of that could probably work is that Elgato chat link cable, but it has a splitter on it. So I'll probably end up buying it to test it out, but that would probably resolve that issue. So your mic could still work without having that hum. But again, if you're on the remote, as long as it's not charging, you won't get that ground loop. But if you want high quality audio and you want to use a DAC, you'll definitely have a ground loop. So probably want to use that chat link cable. So the last thing that I wanted to cover is the personalization aspect of the Roland BRIDGE CAST. They give you these like downloadable templates where you can, I guess, get like a sticker printed so you can cover the plate so the plate comes off. And so we know that we can assign really whatever we want to these knobs, like as far as channels, or whatever we want as far as like sound effects or other kind of quick actions to these buttons that don't necessarily match up with the pre-printed options, you know, that we see here. So this is pretty cool. You can get this sticker printed out using the templates that they give you. They're downloadable. They're at the bottom of this page here. And you can set it to whatever you want. So I just wanted to make sure I covered that part too, because it is an option that's available to you. So that's it for the Roland BRIDGE CAST from a PS5 streamer's perspective. And if there's any open questions, please drop them in the comments. I'll do my best to get some answers in there. I wanted to get this out as soon as possible because if you were like me, kind of on the line and not sure that you know this is the right fit for you, especially if you're a PS5 streamer, I think it's a great option. I don't know if I'm gonna stick with it. I probably will. It's pretty great. I just hope those Mac drivers come out soon. But other than that, I see no problems with it. I actually think it's a great product offering. So please like and subscribe. It's my first review video, so hopefully the next one will be better. All right, have a good one.